Hello everybody, welcome to a video. Today I am going to just be showing off my Magic deck. I started playing Magic, I say recently, but it really hasn't been too recently. And then I just went to the Tarkir draft, and so I got a lot of new cards from that. If you're seeing here, I got this card, which I was really happy about. It's not in my deck because I can't use it, but first pull, and I'm told this is a expensive card. It's like $60, which that's why I put it in a sleeve, even though I'm not using it because don't want to damage it, right? Investment. Um, but so I had a lot of new cards from that, and I thought it'd be cool to show you guys. Um, yeah. So yeah, leave a comment down below if what you like about my deck. If you have any suggestions how I can improve it. You know, if you're a Magic Pro and you got some suggestions, comment down there too. I'll read them, and let's get on to it. So the cards, they're just in a random order. I'll not have it ordered up, but so I first got this guy, Nettleguard. I really like him because he's kind of got like some aggressive stats, and then he destroys enchantments, and then he also has this like Valiant ability that makes him more resistant to like spell effects, right? Or like damaging spells, or no, I control. So no, when attacking, that's what it is. I forgot what he did. I haven't looked at him in a bit. I haven't played Magic for a bit. But no, so it's like when you're attacking, because I got a couple of like the buff spells, like the instant buff spells. When you're attacking, you can improve your guys, and this guy improves the spells, improve them even more, right? And then you can destroy enchantments. So I like that. And planes. This is a white black deck. And then you've got this next card, the Sunblessed Healer. I really like this dude because he has kicker and lifelink, and then when you kicker you can bring back a guy, and like the Nettleguard, he's got 3-1, so he's pretty aggressive on that hit, very aggressive stats. Um, but no, you can make him, you can pay some more and revive a guy, which I have a lot of 2-cost cards. So you can get a lot of value out of that. And then also, like, later in the game, if you draw him, well, you can give him an extra effect, or for you can just play him as a guy for cheap, which I like. And then Giselle, I like this guy because he rewards having lots of guys on the field, because you can activate his ability, and then he improves all your guys, but then he also has first strike, so he's just a solid body, even if you don't have a lot of creatures or a lot of mana, right? And then you've got Undying Malice. This card, I always want to get rid of it because I just don't like it. But it's good. It kind of lets your guys live on it. It allows you to make one of your guys survive a thing that would kill it, like spell or battle or whatever, right? Which I like it. Keeps creatures are important for this deck, and so you can keep a hold of them. And then you got Intrepid Rabbit. I like this guy. This is my favorite because, it's just a father rabbit, and he can bring his son along on his adventures. But I really like this guy because he has the offspring effect, and it's pretty cheap. A lot of the other offsprings are like really expensive, but this guy, he just has offspring 1, so you can pay 4 mana, get a 1/1 along with the body, and then the ability activates, and so then you can boost up your other creatures and kind of push over your enemy that way. I really like that. And then you got the Rottenmouth Viper. This guy has won me a lot of battles just because he snowballs so much, and you can sacrifice your weaker guys to make him cheaper, so you can play him out earlier. Which I really like that because it's always a pain when you just got an expensive card in your hand and you can't play him. And then each time he attacks and when he plays here, to get your opponent just slowly gets drained of resources, which I really like because after a while, it's kind of hard to win for your opponent. And then this is a new card, Rebellious Strike. It's one of those like buff spells, right? You can give a creature +3, +0, and then you draw a card, which I don't think I would have, if it didn't have draw a card, I don't think I would have played it, even if it was like 1 mana. I like the draw card because you can kind of just see a lot more of your deck and always have some cards in your hand. And this is another one, Desperate Measures. This is another one that draws cards. It's basically like a, what's the card, like the Brain Tap, or the, I don't know, it's the Equipment, right? But it's kind of like that, but on an instant. What is it? Yeah, I forget what it is, but this, I like this card because once again you can do it, but then you can also kill, like, you can kill your opponent too. I mean, technically you don't draw the card, so it's kind of bad. But, I mean, you can, and so it's, got some flexibility in that measure, right? And then Burglar Rats, this is another 2-cost card, so you can bring it back with the Cleric, and it's just a 1/1, but when it enters, you can your opponent discards a card, which I really like that, because once again, with that kind of the resource drain, your opponent is going to have a lot harder time winning when they don't have any cards. And then another Burglar Rat, and then the Storm Beacon Blade. I don't really know if it's too good. I like it because you can draw cards, and then it's also an equipment, which, because I did when I was doing the draft, I have 2 cards, 2 of these. I forget if I have both of them in the deck, but equipment is just really good. I never really used equipment because I didn't really have many. I had like 2, but now I have a couple more, and these ones are really good just because, I mean, plus the attack is a lot, and then, on top of that, the card draw is great. And then Mabel's Metal. Again, it's a buff spell, but it rewards a buff multiple of your creatures. And so I really like that because when you're attacking, right, your opponent might have some bigger guys. Well, you can buff both your guys that are attacking, and then they both win the combat instead of just the one. So I like that, because once again, my deck consistently has more than one creature on the board, which I like. And then Dolkovian Pack Beasts. It's a 0/4 Vigilance, Mobilize. Mobilize is fun. I like Mobilize. I don't know how good he is. I like this dude because he has high toughness and vigilance, meaning you can attack, and then you can also, like, sacrifice the tokens, because I have a couple sacrifice tokens, or cards that sacrifice cards, and you can use the tokens for that. So that's good. And then you got Fel. I really like Fel just because it's kind of a no-nonsense removal spell. It's a sorcery, cheap, destroy a creature. You'd have, like, the Planeswalker one. I forget what it is, but it's like 3 mana. It's like you can destroy a Planeswalker as well. But I think this is just no-nonsense destroy a creature, which I really enjoy. And then Aggressive Negotiations. Once again, this is kind of the removal of your opponent's resources, but this one's a targeted removal, right? You can look at their hand and pick up their key piece that's important, which I really like that. And then you can also buff up one of your guys with a token or with a counter, and I really like that because, once again, it's like I have weaker guys, power them up with a counter, that's nice. And then you've got Eaten Alive. This one's great because it's a removal spell for cheap, but in order to play it for cheap, you have to sacrifice a creature, right? But I have all these creatures and tokens I can sacrifice, so that's not really a cost. And this one exiles a creature at Planeswalker, so that's really good because, like, destruction effects, like, when this is in the graveyard, well, joke's on you. I use Eaten Alive, and they're not in the graveyard; they're exiled. Yeah, another Eaten Alive, another Nettle Guard. Great. Warren Elder. I like Warren Elder. He's really cool. Once again, he's kind of like a weaker version of the lion guy. I already forgot his name. Giselle. It's kind of weaker, 4 mana for +1/+1. But once again, just kind of get that mana 6 in. You're not, if it was a card, then I was playing for that ability to be really bad. But when it's just on a creature that I'm already going to be playing, or not, maybe not if it didn't have the ability, but on a 2/2 body, and I can keep using it, so it's a bit, I'm not losing that card advantage. So I really like him, and he's got good stats. If he was like a 1/1, maybe he'd be bad, but he's a 2/2. This a Moment of Craving. Once again, this is just some removal, right? -2/-2. Gets past like 1 damaged effects or something, and then I gain life. So, a bit more survivability. and then Bloodful Blood Witch. So this is kind of around the fact that I have a lot of mobilize and like tokens and weaker guys, and so you can play this guy, and basically it means that even if your opponent can block all your guys, well, hey, they still take damage. Or, hey, they attack with the big guy, you can use all your tokens to block the big guy, and then you do a ton of damage to them, and you gain a lot of life survivability. So I like him. And then Hungry Ghoul. This is, I used to not like him because I'm like, well, if I'm sacrificing a 1/1 to put a 1/1 on him, I'm paying 1 for that. Why would I do that when I could just use a 1/1? But then with the Mobilize, because I've got a couple cards, I think, with Mobilize, it's beneficial because the Mobilize tokens die at the end of the turn. Well, with this, you can kill them and kill them before their time's up, and then you gain a reward for that. It's just 1 mana, so he's just 2/2, so he's good. And then you got Arbiter of Woe. This guy's kind of expensive. He sits in your hand for a bit, and you can't really play him. But when you do get to play him, he just gives you a lot of benefits, right? Once again, you have to sacrifice to him, but he's a big boy with big stats and flying, so you can kind of fly over your enemy. And then when he enters, your opponent has to discard a card. Once again, less resources on their part, less chance that you're going to lose. And then they also lose 2 life, and then you draw a card and gain 2 life. And so it's very beneficial in that way, because you can kind of gain some life, gain some survivability, gain some resources. They lose resources and lose survivability, so it's great. And then Offer Immortality, just gain Death Touch and Indestructible. I really like this card because once again you got a lot of weak cards. You attack in with them or block with them, and then your opponent who's got bigger guys or more important guys right there attacking, right? Well, hey, I can just Offer Immortality, and now my guy is immortal, right? He doesn't die, and your opponent's creature does, which is great. It's great. Right, this is a land, but it's a different land. Mudflat Village. Once again, I say, my kind of rule of thumb with lands is just put them in. Right? I mean, it's better than a swamp, so just run this. Right? I mean, I think it's slightly worse than a swamp, and I mean, oh no, I have to catch creature spells, the spells that are in my deck. And so it's good, and then you can revive a couple of the cards. I mean, I used to have a lot more, but I mean, you can bring back a rat, or I might have a lizard in this deck. I forget what's in it, but. And once again, another Intrepid Rabbit. I love Intrepid Rabbit, so the flavor is on point, and I really like that. It's fun. Yeah, so I knew I had a lizard. Ravine Raider. So 1/1 with Menace, and then for 2 mana you can give it +1/+1 until end of turn. I really like this guy, just for the fact that you can play him if you play him early, right? He's a 1-cost card. He's got Menace, so he's not going to be, you can just kind of attack in with him, and your opponent, if they have to have a couple of guys to block him. And then he's got that boost, so it's like, oh, I don't really want to play cards. Well, I can boost him up and just deal more damage and put more pressure on him, and not waste my cards on stuff. And then you've got Aisha's Legacy. This is just like the Offer Immortality. It's just got a different picture and a different name. Yeah. Once again, same purpose, right? Just, kill an opponent's card and make your card not die. It's great. And then another land. This one is marginally worse than a normal land, but it has got utility. And that's kind of, I'm like, I got all these swamps, might as well put this card in. Right? It just produces neutral mana. Then you can create tokens, or you can destroy tokens and draw cards. I've got a lot of tokens, so I can draw some cards. You can lose life to create tokens, and you can create treasure tokens, so you're ramping. So this kind of is like a slow way of like, hey, I don't have any cards. Well, I can draw cards. I can create tokens slowly and sacrifice. So it's just kind of it's a land where it goes, hey, I'm screwed. Well, I'm not entirely screwed. I do have plays to make, and that's always handy, right? It's always good to have that option. Okay, Descendant of Storms. When I saw this card, I thought that I on drugs, because this card is such a good card. Whenever you attack, you can just pay 2, and then you can create tokens or improve this card's power. You can put counters on it, which is insane because it's a 1-cost 2/1, which already is great stats. I mean, you're very aggressive stats. You do a lot of damage, but then once again, that the kind of the mana sink, when you attack with it, you can kind of just slowly improve your game plan over time, and by the time they deal with it, it's going to be a lot bigger than when you first played it, which is great. And then you've got this guy, Kumar Initiate. 2 mana, 2/2. With you can pay X and tap it and gain pay life, and then you endure, which you can create counters. And this guy's just, once again, I don't know how much I do like him, because I don't really like him. He's a lot of, pay a lot and tap him and pay life, and you're losing a lot of resources, but you can, late in the game, you can kind of just buff him up crazily, and or you can create a big spirit creature and then sacrifice him. So you can he's kind of versatile in that way, where you can kind of use him multiple times, create multiple tokens, create one big guy. Versatility, which is great. And then Macabre Waltz. This card's great because you can just, your creatures are going to be dying, you can bring them back, and then you can discard a card, right? Which I don't know if I have a couple cards that want to be discarded. But I mean, if you do, you can discard them, or it's really just that first effect. But I mean, this whole card is just full of versatility. Which that's if you're looking at my deck, you're like, huh. And that's what I love. I love versatility, and I love being able to, once again with this Bonebound Orator, right? It's just kind of a guy, but you can, when he's dead, right? This is one of the cards you might want to discard because he's just kind of, you don't want to, but you could, right? Because he works in the graveyard. Is you can return another card from your graveyard by paying 4, right? Well, you can bring back a big guy. And it's versatility, right? Oh, my creature that was useful, my Giselle, let's say, died early in the game. I played him early and he died, but now I need him now. Well, I can bring him back now, right? And that's what I love, is being able to just kind of quickly gain access to what you need, which I think is great. All right, and then you got Bearer of Glory, 2 mana, 2/1. During your turn, this creature has first strike. Creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. Once again, it's like the Worn Elder, right? It's a bit more expensive, but once again, it's just a mana sink and buff up your guys, and it's great, And then another of those swords, right? Already, it's a great card. And then Duty Beyond Death. So Duty Beyond Death, once again, another card which requires an additional cost of sacrificing a creature. But this is really good because it makes all your guys unable to die, right? Indestructible. But then you also put counters on them. So this is like a permanent Worn Elder. And, which, I mean, just sounds stupidly insane. It's beyond insane. But this is a great card. I wish I had more of them because it's a very good card. And then you got Dewdrop Cure. This is a great card because it's one of the gift cards, right? So it's 3 mana gift card if you want to. Will turn up to 2 target creatures with a mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. If the gift was punished, intent of running turn target creature with a mana value 2 or less from the 3. Alright, so you basically, this is a one again. The 2-cost cards. You can bring them back. You can bring back your rats. You can bring back your Worn Elder if you want. You bring back your Banner of Glory, right? Your Bearer of Glory. You can bring them back and have them back, right? Or you can bring up the next guy on that IC, right? This Vampire Garmont, once again, another sacrifice creature, and then you draw a card, and he can't be blocked, so he's going to do some damage. Then can't be blocked, really, is important to draw a card, right? He's a 2-cost card that when he attacks, you can just draw cards. You draw cards. And this is really good because if you have a lot of cheap cards, well, hey, you want to get your lands, you want to get your cards, you want to play your bigger cards and your cheaper cards. Drawing cards is just important. So, that was my deck. I hope you enjoyed it. As I was filming this, I'm kind of looking, the cards weren't straight, I'm looking at this at an angle, but I hope you enjoyed, hope you could see it. And, like I said, comment down below if you have any suggestions. I already know I want to get some of the Mardu guys that are like the devotee, the Mardu devotees, and then put some red maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. It's a pretty good deck. I like it. It's fun. Well, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.